When was the last time the Miami Dolphins had an elite quarterback?
Tua isn't an NFL quarterback. Small, unathletic, brittle, overwhelmed.
What is your biggest concern about Tua?
He's played well at times, but he's struggled at times. He's been inconsistent and he's been hurt. That's not the mark that checks the box that says, yeah, he's our quarterback for the next decade.
Guys like Greeny and the media to start digging deeper and have these type of conversations about, well, now we wonder if Tua is actually the answer to this team long term.
Down there in Miami, look, you'll find people who like Tua, some people who don't.
Well, I hear it. You know, I do hear it. The thing is, I just don't listen to it.
QBs in the NFL are judged brutally.
Yeah, and the problem is, no matter how determined he is to play well, he just may not have the high-end tools that would allow him to do it. So no matter how hard he tries, no matter how determined he is to prove that they shouldn't want Deshaun Watson is better than him. It's that simple.
An injury or string of bad performances at the wrong time can mean the end of a promising career. For Tua Tagovailoa, this has nearly been the case on several occasions.
Well, Tua's going to be going into his third NFL season with this third offensive coach, his third different system, and his third different voice that he's going to hear.
Welcome back to Unlikely Success, where we want to inspire you by highlighting the success of others. Today, we're going to dive into Tuatime, the rise of Tua Tagovailoa. Let's discuss Tua's NFL journey and his determination to overcome the adversity of injuries, coaching changes, and self-doubt. Prior to the 2019 college football season, Tua was seen as an elite quarterback prospect with the potential to be the number one pick.
Tua's a star, and that's the reality is if we kind of go back in time before the injury, Tua's a star.
All that would change when he took a crushing sack against Mississippi State. The sack would cause him to have a dislocated and fractured hip, broken nose, and concussion.
What have you been told with your rehab and your recovery?
So the first 6 weeks, no weight bearing, on the right leg. They say right after that, start walking with the walker, and after 3 months, then I should be able to get back into, doing a lot of physical activity things. I'm just trying to walk first.
Tua was focused on returning to his pre-injury form and becoming an early first-round draft pick. Through his dogged work ethic and intense determination, Tua was cleared medically and able to perform pre-draft workouts. Entering the 2020 draft, Tua's injury was a major storyline.
I think the biggest concern I would have is, are we getting the same player? And by that I mean the twitchiness. Everything in his game, in Tua's game, is built on how quickly he's able to process, but then move his feet and marry his feet to his eyes, and how quick he goes through progressions, and how quick he makes decisions. And that's what makes him great. And will he ever get back to that point is the biggest question I would have for doctors. I don't know how you can answer it.
3 quarterbacks were taken in the top 10 picks of the draft. The 2 other quarterbacks taken in the top 10 were Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. Tagovailoa's career will forever be linked to their performance. All 3 prospects were seen as future stars, but the primary question surrounding Tua was whether or not he could stay healthy. Do you think the Miami Dolphins should have taken him with the 5th overall pick?
I don't know.
Let me know in the comments below. Moving into Tua's rookie season, fans would have to wait until the 6th game to watch their new quarterback. It was a brief appearance, but after the team's bye, he was named the starter. The year was a rocky one, highlighted by 2 games where head coach Brian Flores benched Tua for Ryan Fitzpatrick.
When you take your rookie quarterback after you've handed him the reins, you said, Ryan Fitzpatrick, okay, you are not here anymore. You're still here as a backup in case something happens to Tua, but by inserting him in the game at that juncture and now allowing Tua, a guy that you're saying we're handing you the keys to the franchise to work through that moment, that allows opportunities for guys like Greeny and the media to start digging deeper and have these type of conversations about, well, now we wonder if Tua is actually the answer to this team long term.
Miami would also suffer a blowout loss at the end of the season, which caused the Dolphins to miss the playoffs for the 4th straight year. In his 9 starts, he would finish 6-3 with 11 touchdowns and 5 picks. He played through several moments of adversity, but he was also benched during big moments. All things considered, I would say he handled it with grace and a professional demeanor. Cruising into 2021, the Dolphins had thoughts of being a playoff team. Tua would lead the team to a Week 1 win over the Pats, But in week 2,
now it is being reported he does have broken ribs.
Damn.
After missing 3 weeks, he would return, but his return would not stop the Dolphins' slide, starting the season 1-7. The team would sit Tua for a week, deciding to take a cautious approach on his rib injury from earlier in the year. He would return in week 10 and lead the Dolphins to wins in 8 of their final 9 games. Finishing 9-8 felt like a moral victory, but it did not end the playoff drought. His 16 touchdowns and 10 interceptions on the year were not exactly inspiring the organization. Heading into the offseason, major changes were on the horizon. An entire offseason for the Dolphins was spent on 2 things. Was Tua good enough, and what was his relationship with the recently fired head coach?
Brian Flores just got fired as the Dolphins head coach.
I've been told that the relationship with him and quarterback Tua Tagovailoa had been deteriorating over the second half of the season.
That, whether it was I'm not going to get into that other stuff, but I don't think he was put in the best position necessarily.
Anyone dealing with this level of adversity would start to show signs of breaking. After all, we are all human.
Having someone that, first off, believes in you makes all the difference. Having someone that calls me randomly, just telling me how much I mean to him and the things that he's trying to accomplish and we're trying to accomplish as a team. It's cool. I've never had that. I've never experienced that. This is my first time having that kind of relationship with someone, of that type of authority, being the head coach of an organization.
Tua is not a victim of circumstance, though. He would work harder than ever to prove he belonged in the NFL and disregard the storylines of the offseason by preparing himself for what he hoped would be a breakout year. New head coach Mike McDaniel would take the following stance on the talented Dolphin quarterback.
What have you learned about Tua? What do you know about Tua? Or what do you see in Tua that the rest of us cannot see?
Well, it started with just the bottom line. I know through my own experience that for you to maximize yourself, it only can help, it can't hurt to have support and belief. So I started with that.
How would you approach an employer that actively sought your replacement? What about a boss that you didn't get along with? Tua, again, would handle both with grace and professionalism. Miami was now becoming an intriguing team of unknown potential going into the 2022 season. A new coach.
The Dolphins will be hiring 49ers offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel to be the team's next head coach.
New star wide receiver.
Tyreek Hill has been traded from Kansas City to Miami. That man is now a Dolphin.
And a reinvigorated quarterback looking to change league opinions. They were ready to upend the NFL. The team would start out on fire, beating the Patriots in week 1, the Ravens in week 2, and in week 3 against the Bills, they would improve to 3-0. But in this game, there was a very scary moment for Tua that became controversially labeled as a back injury. He would play in week 4 against the Bengals, but this is when a truly scary moment would happen on the field.
Tua rolling left with the grain, and down he goes, slung down at his own 48-yard line. Josh Tupu, and well, we saw last week, and he went down, he got up, was wobbly, the training staff comes out.
This would lead to many serious questions about the team's responsibility to Tua.
People have said he has a concussion. The Dolphins said he didn't have a concussion. We don't know whether he did or he didn't. What we do know is that when he walked off that field on Sunday, something did not look right. Something was wrong. And Tua was allowed to re-enter the game after being cleared by the doctors, leading up to the circumstances last night that left everybody with a deep, disturbed feeling about how the system had failed.
He would return in week 7 against the Steelers, with fans nervous about his health. Miami would go 5-4 over the next 9 games Tua played in. Unfortunately, against the Green Bay Packers, Tua would suffer concussion-like symptoms. Miami would finish the season 9-8 and limp to their first playoff appearance since 2016, but it felt lackluster without their starting quarterback. The team put up a spirited effort, but suffered defeat nonetheless. Through all the injuries, Tua would finish the season with career highs in yards and touchdowns, but the major concern was his health, even to the point of him considering
to walk away from this game with how old I am, with
I mean, with my son, I always dreamed of growing, playing as long as I could to where my son knew exactly what, he was watching his dad do. And yeah, I mean, it's my health, it's my body, and I feel like this is what's best for me and my family. So, I mean, I love the game of football. If I didn't, I would have quit a long time.
As the 2023 season has opened, there are still plenty of concerns about whether Tua can stay on the field. He is determined to stay healthy in 2023, going so far as to learn judo in the offseason. But every sack will be analyzed. Every time he lands wrong or looks unsteady, it will become part of the news cycle, and it should. Tua has been a spirited football player who continually pushes past his limits, but the coaching and medical staff will need to protect him from his instinct to play through injury. The years of injuries have led to a deterioration of confidence and heavy scrutiny of whose responsibility it is to prevent further damage. His determination to overcome every injury, every public doubt, and every obstacle placed in his way is inspiring. He continues to find ways to show he belongs in the NFL and ignore limitations. But a careful approach will be needed to ensure he reaches his career goals in football. His longevity in the sport depends on it. Tua's willingness to work through adversity is something we can all learn from. He demonstrates a passion for his profession and a desire to become the best. He has already achieved success, but continues to strive for more, unafraid of failure. We should all take the same approach in our professional and personal lives. Do you think Tua will lead the Dolphins to playoff success and have a long career? I think he has the grit and determination to achieve both, but it's hard to ignore the injuries. Last season's concussions lead me to believe that he will have a shorter career, but I am hoping he is able to stay healthy for as long as he wants to play. In my opinion, he has already achieved enough to call himself a success. He has life-changing wealth, played a sport he loves at the highest level, and found a way to overcome unimaginable injuries. For my money, this makes him an undoubted success. Until next time, keep chasing your dreams and keep chasing your success.
There is no quarterback in the NFL seeing football faster than Tua is right now.